Your first buyer must always be you. I want to speak to this because I find myself in this place. I've been on a journey for some time now with systems. This is not of great news to you. If you've been on the show for a while, then you'll be like, oh yeah, of course we're talking systems. But my original vision, my original experience was knowing how to make any system, how to make the system that builds systems, process for processes, get all of that working. But I realized that there is no software that currently exists that actually makes this easy. And yes, you can do it with spreadsheets and Word documents, but human error becomes a challenge. You see, it requires a level of detail that many people just are not used to doing in this day and age. Most people are sloppy. Most people have been trained to just be on continuous feeds. They're unable to focus. And so small details when running systems that work need to be managed. And if they're not, then it becomes a little bit more difficult. Software, though, solves this. So I went and said, hey, how much to build the software? And in doing that, I came into an interesting due diligence, and they were like, well, you should not really expect your first software to work. It really should just be a show reel to get the investors in. And I'm like, what? What do you mean we're just going to have it as a demonstration? And they're like, yeah, and then you go to the capital people and they give you 5 million and then you build out the actual thing. I was like, you know what? Surely in 2022, there is the possibility of building software the first time. And so I peeled back from that and went, you know what? What about if instead of building a general case for being able to work any system, what about if I just looked at the systems that have the most value? And for many people, that involves 4 things: marketing, sales, advertising, and fulfillment. These are the essentials of every business. And as businesses grow, there are, of course, other things that come into play. But without these on point, business itself falls apart. And so I dialed in those systems. And this meant a new product, a new experience, a new offering. And I get to be my very first customer. I get to test this and run through the marketing to then apply to the sales and the advertising and the fulfillment experience. That this is important for a couple of reasons. One is to prove that it works. There is an entirely different sales experience if I am sure that my stuff works. Just as you want to have confidence in your stuff, that what you are selling works. Otherwise, you're selling snake oil. It's a sham deal. And while you might get away with it, your chances of pulling it off on a long-term period in 2022 with all of social media, with all of the ratings and reviews is small. You need to know that your stuff works. And that's why you must be the first customer, the first buyer. Before anyone else buys, you must buy. And this is the same for me. I must buy my stuff and say, yeah, I know this works. Why? Because I've been through the entire experience myself. I bought, I know it works, and that provides a level of confidence that must be there. Expecting others to purchase something that I myself would not buy, this isn't going to fly in 2022. The second thing is to make sure that when I have gone through it, that I'm like, yep, this is something I want to sell. Because there is a possibility that in being the first customer, I'm like, you know what? Actually, this isn't something I want to do. You see, when you begin a business or you start and you're the first buyer, you're going to be selling that for a while. You're going to be involved in that for a while. And so you better like it. You better be like, you know what? Having tasted of the experience, this is something that I am committed to. This is something I'm passionate about. This is something that I can see makes a difference in the world. That when you come with a value proposition to people, it makes a difference in their world, that they are getting a good deal in exchange for their money, that they are getting something of significant value, probably a lot more value than they're actually paying you or paying me. That if they can make $100,000 for $4,000, then that makes sense. That's like, hell yeah. If not only on the money side, but they get to do it much faster than they can currently do, or with a lot less work. Systems allow this strange experience that is, if you just follow the steps, you don't need to know what you're doing. Somebody needs to know what they're doing to build the system in the first place. But after that, they can go and say, hey, just do this step, do this step, do this step, do this, and voila, desired results. This is of extreme value. This is where I got to with building out a new product that builds marketing, sales, ads, and fulfillment. Because you don't need to know any of that stuff. You don't need to read the books. You don't need to know what you're doing. All you need to do is go, oh, wow. We can create these variables for your business and deploy them. That everything is covered. That every web page, every video script, every email, every slides for the webinar is covered. Every audience that is going to be the ads that deploy to is covered. The products are all built out and the customer experience is handled. You're like, whoa, that's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, but before you can do that, I need to buy it first. And so that's going to be the work over the next week or so to deploy and find out for sure that the systems that build marketing campaigns work. All right, that's all I got for you today. I want you to take away the lesson that you don't need to know how stuff works if the system works. You just got to know how to assess whether a system gives its desired results and whether that's something you want. All right, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you got a lot of value out of today's episode, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's as we continue this journey into the power of systems to create results. See you then.